Alright, agents. This is Agent Hyperlaser. The past few recordings haven't really worked, but I'm gonna try this again. This is Abyssal, a platformer game set in the Abyss. Yes, I know. Very shocking. Essentially, after a cataclysmic event, all humans retreated into this labyrinth known as the Abyss that just kind of expands upward. Well, I'll explain. You are selected as an Abyss Walker, someone who is meant to go up back to the surface and reclaim it. Now, the Abyss runs on an energy known as Abyssal energy. Yes, I know, very creative. And it's used basically as the lifeblood of everything. It's used as what's powering your abilities, which are I'll get to later. The game is very casual. There isn't really much stress, despite this being a platformer, as, let me give you an example. So if I just head over here, if I say wanted to be over here, just messing around on the bed and whoop, I fell down. You can rewind time and go back up. Now this does cost you your AE, Abyssal Energy, but there is no real punishment for doing it, besides losing a small amount of it. If you see this little orb tracking me, you may be wondering what this is. This is known as a witness. Basically what they do is they give you abilities. Some are passive, some you have to actively use, like the -10 weight and run speed increase, or, let me give you an example of the active ability. I just used my double jump. However, you can recharge it. Normally, you can only recharge your double jump by talking to other, well, not talking, but by being near to other Abyss Walkers, either players or NPCs. However, this guy can recharge it for a small fee. Now the reason why double jumps are so important is because they are the multiplayer aspect of this game. The game encourages you to play with other people by allowing you to do obstacle courses more efficiently, or do optional obstacle courses that may grant you greater rewards than just progressing in the game. There's a fast travel system that allows you to travel to any checkpoint you want, such as the Runic Enclave. You likely hear it now, but the soundtrack is also incredible. You can actually collect them and play them in the music player. My personal favorites are Bloom, Cascade, and Imprisoned. Well, actually no, and Confinement, but you should really just look up Abyssal OST and give it a listen yourself. Promise me, you will not regret it. There's a few different ways that you can gain AE in this game. There are these smaller orbs that will grant you 10 AE and 1 witness level per orb, or you can touch these larger ones that are more rare, and they will grant you 50 AE per orb and will give your witness 5 levels. There are also these things called echoes, which are basically just better large orbs. However, they're fixed and can only be collected once. They also, the more you collect, the less AE it takes for you to use abilities. For example, when I reached 20, the cost it took for my double jump to be recharged dropped to 13. The base is 60. Although it might have stacked if I got a reduction at 10 echoes, but I don't really know. So, the most recent update to this game was Lenora's Resort, which I was at the start of the video. The game is not finished yet, only having 7 layers. However, it's still a lot of fun, and you can find a lot of cool Easter eggs and details that I bet were quite fun for the developers to add. Such as fallen Abyss Walkers who have, well, fallen in their quest to make it back to the surface. It actually kind of moves me whenever I see them, despite their rarity. Despite there really being only a few set paths that will allow you to progress in the game, there are a lot of detours that you can go to, and there's a lot of other fun stuff that you can do. Oh yeah, you can also, the main way to find cosmetics is by finding them on pedestals. This is a music track that I've unlocked. At least I think I've unlocked it. Oh well. There's a few different kinds of customization. For one, there is your masks. This will be on your face and it will glow with your dye, the same color as your dye, which I'll get to in a second. There's your wings, which obviously go on your back. Mine also give me this, like, hair coming out of the neck. There's horns. I have the Valkyrie horns equipped. And there's sigils and sigil colors. Well, the color of your sigil. I'm pretty sure that's kind of a game pass. I may be wrong though. Anyways. Dyes allow you to color your Abyss Walker to however you'd like. I have this like golden yellowish glow. It's also quite bright. I'm sorry if I'm hurting your eyes. And there are also game passes that allow you to color your witness the same color as you, and also give it your sigil. Well, a representation of your sigil, which I also really enjoy. I really have to give it to Next Reality Games. This game is amazing. You can also play it with your friends, which is a lot of fun. And, however, it's entirely optional, and if you know what you're doing, you can actually just clear it by yourself. Although, what's the fun in doing something by yourself? Apparently I've already collected that thing. Oh well. Let's see. Let's go to the Chamber of Rebirth, where you start the game. I really like the detail, how you can see other unreleased Abyss Walkers just floating in stasis. It's kinda cool. And then the trail of Abyssal orbs, and the brief tutorial introduction all make it for an amazing experience. You can also choose your witness at the start of the game, which will allow you to have abilities, as I've mentioned before. There we go. This is where you can find the lore. Now what's interesting is that mask depicting the cataclysmic event that forced everyone underground kinda resembles the quest guides that you can find at the start of floors and at the end of floors. Let me give you an example, although I might have already mentioned them. So, at the floor to ascent, you can find this guy, who will give you a optional challenge where you can disable all abilities, your time rewind, your witness abilities, and just a bunch of other stuff, in exchange for a reward at the end of the floor. And this is the guy that you talk to turn in the quest. This is the guy that you turn in the quest for the floor 1 challenge, but he's a good example to pair with this. Anyways, that's Abyssal. I might have missed something. If I did, leave it down in the comments. And stay safe, agents. Have fun.